Hi, guys. Welcome to this week's podcast episode. How are you? This is my co host, Ocean. How are you doing?
I am well. How are you doing?
Good. I feel like we haven't done a pod in forever because of one reason or another. And I'm like, what are we supposed to do?
I know, but don't worry. We're going to get through it. We're going to be just fine. And guys, you may have never seen me with glasses, but let me tell you, I'm not going to say any names, but somebody basically told me I was blind as a bat. And so that's why I had these glasses on.
It
No.
was me. It was me. I ain't even gonna mince words. I was like, girl, you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna be like, hey, let's go to lunch. And then I'm gonna kidnap you and we're gonna end up in front of an eyeglass store. I'm gonna be like, she has dementia. She
No way.
needs glasses.
That is so funny. I guess, guys, she got tired of me doing like this. I respect that. That's love. That's how you know that you are really loved. When someone loves you enough to be like, you know what, I'm not going to have you out here in these streets doing all this. Driving like this.
No, but we see, we're exactly the same because I try and drive with no glasses on, and I can see things moving,
Yes,
and that's how I know people are safe. But
absolutely.
you
Nobody said, ow, I'm good.
You put me in an environment where I have to read signs. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you're asking too much.
That's so way, right? Yes.
So this week, we do have a topic
Yeah.
beyond projection. Who am I?
Yeah.
Do you want to start off with this conversation?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to start off with the conversation. First, I want to want to thank everyone for joining us today. We're always happy to have you. We are going to talk about something I think that we can all relate to in some sense. Projections. I would like to first, think about some questions that we have about projections. Maybe we can ask. But I think that a lot of us may live the majority of our lives not really being or knowing who we are beyond those projections. So, we're going to talk about those things today. We're going to talk about what projections are. We're going to talk about the types of projections, some of the types of projections, can't cover everything. We're going to talk about how we can go beyond projections to see who we are, how we can empower ourselves. And also, not just that, we want to also talk about how we can project, even if we don't know it. Okay?
Yes. Yes. I um I had a huge struggle with this subject matter several years back where I had to really figure out who am I
Mm,
really? Like my most authentic self. Now, I'm really incapable of being fake. I don't have it in me to be fake to people.
right.
And I felt like because I could accommodate people's preferences in
Right.
regards to which parts of my character, all valid parts, by the way, which parts
Absolutely.
of my character they can tolerate.
Hmm.
That's what I based my behavior on. And
Hmm.
I went through this horrible cycle of accusing myself of being fake, of like being a liar, and just, totally being manipulative. And really, it's like I'm just showing you other aspects of myself. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
Well, that's very interesting. I can definitely relate, especially how you were talking about you have all these parts to yourself, and all of them are valid. Now, for myself personally, to some extent, I've always been in touch with who I am at my core. It's just that I didn't share that with everybody, even in the same household. Like, but I always felt very connected to things that I couldn't see, things that I could feel, but might not necessarily explain because I knew, and it was okay for me. It was my way of being, you know. But I think projections, as far as that's weird or that's even bad, just for being who you are, you can't help that you feel certain things. You can look at certain things. You're not trying to bust anybody out. You can see beyond certain things. It used to freak adults out. You know, they were comfortable with my dreams, but there were a lot of aspects of me, even the way I talked, that just were like, oh no, you shouldn't really, you should do more like this or more like that. But at some point, it's like, nah, you know, I am who I am. And beyond all projections, no matter how well people may mean, I am who I am, right?
Right. I think that's one of the things that caused me to struggle so deeply a few years back is that my entire life I've never been allowed to be who I am.
Mm.
So from childhood, I come from a culture, and I can only speak about my culture because that's all I know from childhood. But
Mhm.
I come from a culture that really is about obligatory existence. It's still a beautiful culture, don't get me wrong. But these are some of the pitfalls of my culture. We're very heavy into obligation. We're very heavy into worrying about what other people think, and that my behavior, the way people receive me, is a reflection first and foremost on my parents'
Mhm.
um, failures, or successes, and also the value of my family altogether.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of needing to hide things, needing to not show who I am, rejecting myself. I don't even think um I don't even think most of my family really knows what I do for work, what I actually do for work. They're like, she does some YouTube stuff, and then I don't know, like spiritual stuff, sage, I don't know, crystals. You
Mhm.
know, they don't know. Ask them like, what does she do for work? They'd be like, I don't know, she's like influencer or something,
Mhm.
right? But I'm not even an influencer. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not any of that. For work, what I do is teach um, quantum chaotic sciences.
Mhm.
That's what I do. And people don't know that because there's still that stigma.
Mhm.
I found that I still, to this day, despite being very, very immersed in my most authentic self, my most authentic truth, and living that so deeply, if you were to have a relative get on the live stream and I'm aware they're in the comments, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I would shut down like, ooh, oh, yikes, because there's been a few times where my cousin's um, husband has come on the live streams in the comments. He'll just like, hi. And I'm like, is he off yet? Is he off?
Okay.
And this is my cousin that knows that I do this type of stuff,
Mhm. I
right?
understand that.
So it's this thing of the programs that we've lived through for
Yes.
much of our lives,
Mhm.
depending on how deep that's gone, and their requirement for you to comply, that's really what determines how much of a projection your existence actually is, and how much you project into your environment about your self-loathing.
That's deep. Deep.
Have you ever experienced that where your own insecurities, fears, and self-hatred become projected into your environment, and then they repeat the very things that you're saying to yourself?
Hmm. I think, like, with me, there was a time in my life where I would just really, really beat up on myself. Really, really, really beat up on myself. And then those tapes would
Mm.
play. You know what I mean? Those tapes would play. And it's not necessarily an easy thing to get out of. We first have to realize what's going on, you know? But yeah, I've definitely been there, you know?
You know, that period that I talked about earlier, several years back, it was initiated because, excuse me, there were groups of people who decided to put their full effort into cyberbullying me. And the thing that stood out, because I people have tried to bully me my whole life. It doesn't work. I don't care. Right? Just like, I don't care. You don't like me, join the club. But this time it was different because I was positioned in such a way within my life, within my journey, where I was questioning the validity of what I was allowing people to witness
Mm,
coming from me
deep,
publicly, right?
deep.
Because
Yeah.
this was a time where I began to allow myself to be publicly visible. A lot of people don't realize this. It is not my goal or desire to become famous.
Right.
I would love to be someone that no one ever knows my name, my face, or any of that. And it was this thing of my soul told me to live stream. Before that point where I had my arm twisted to live stream, I kept my friends list at 100 people, nothing more. You know, if I haven't interacted with you in more than several weeks, you're off my friend list, and it's people I actually interact with. And no one had ever heard my voice. No one had ever seen me. I only ever posted funny things, right?
Mm. That's deep.
Because, you know, that's one of the best, most efficient ways to hide yourself in plain sight, to
Mm.
have a sense of humor that kind of people just dismiss you and you
Mm.
ask them to, right?
Mm.
And it was this thing of I was being positioned to no longer be dismissed.
Oh.
And that was scary for me. And I began to question, like, you know, if people know the gravity of the work that I do, because I've done this work my whole life, I just never told people, right? If people begin to know the work that I do and it's not kept hush hush, based on my societal programs, my religious programs, my familial programs, that's demonic.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. And it's not like you just sat up when you were, 8 years old, 9 years old, trying to learn something. You were born with it. And I
Yes.
get it. Yeah.
Yes, I was born with this intensity. I've always had the mindset that I have, and me growing has just been this process of uncovering more of my ability to allow people to witness how I actually am deep inside,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Yes.
So, it's not even me becoming another person,
Yeah.
and I don't know that this is unique to me. I think the thing that makes me unique in this is my awareness of what this process actually is. I think everyone goes through this process. I don't think you grow and become a different person.
Mhm.
Excuse me. I think what happens is as you grow in your awareness, you shed your willingness to continue to hide the most authentic parts of you.
Mhm.
And now I'm at a point where it's like people are still not going to understand. There's enough that do for me to not be able to tell myself like they're just being nice. Like, no, I do have an entire community that gets my integrity, my heart, my intentions.
Mhm.
Whether they understand the work I do or not is irrelevant. They understand me and my value as a being.
Indeed. Indeed.
And I think if people get to that point where they can find an environment or a group that can help hold this safe space for them to unfold even more, the projections kind of go away. And all that's left is the reality of who you are.
I think so too. I really think so too. What is our community saying out there?
Lucy says, excuse me, I know I'm my true self around people I feel comfortable with. Um, if I don't know, something company I don't trust, but I know I read the room and adjust to it. Yes.
I can understand that. Yeah. See me, I've never been like, oh, I don't like who I am. With me, it's been more of a thing of like, especially when I was younger, it's like people around me will not be comfortable with who I am. It's not even anything that I found so weird, but even like my strength, like my boldness. I don't even have to be out up front about it, but I have a certain energy about myself and a certain thing that I do not allow for myself. And I've always been like that. Even in my compassionate, little empathic self, I always had this strength, this force that I've always felt with me, you know?
Yes, girl, there is nothing little about your energy. She's like my little empathic stuff. Mm, you know, excuse me. And I think that's why I resonate with you so deeply is
Yeah.
because we both share that same, I guess, humbleness.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know how to put it. Humility. Humility,
Yes.
I think, is
Yes.
the best word.
Indeed.
Where we understand that whatever gifts we're given, whatever greatness we have, it's really to be used for service, not for self promotion,
Right.
self advancement, these things that really just pertain to benefit to self and no one else.
Exactly, exactly. And
Yeah.
some people don't get that. And that can even tie into projection because sometimes people will feel, well, there's got to be more to her or there's got to be more to him. He can't just be doing this from the goodness of his heart. He can't just be this nice. She can't be this giving. There's got to be something to it. No, there's not necessarily anything more to it. That person's projecting. That person is taking what he or she is inside or feels inside and projecting those expectations and those things onto another person or situation.
Right. I found that people who are capable of being malignant to others, in the past, they've accused others of the same malignancies they're capable of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why would you think that they blah blah blah? And they're like, well, just look at them. They blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I see. I saw that same behavior. I didn't think anything of that. And
Exactly.
now my mind is working, and it's like, well, that's because I would never do that. That's when my mind doesn't go there first. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you would
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like,
absolutely would. That's why your mind went there. I'm like, okay,
right.
now I
Exactly.
know who not to trust.
Wisdom. Wisdom. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's hard for people to exist in a space of awareness
Yeah.
when they are so busy deflecting all the arrows and being thrown at them consistently.
Absolutely. I agree completely. Completely. Ooh.
Billy says, I found that I started hiding parts of me till I knew I was safe to share them.
Mm.
How many of you can relate to that where you feel like you have to hide who you are, right? Sochi says, yep, I totally get that. Not really being able to be who you are 100% in front of family. And it's like, family's supposed to know you.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to know you the most.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that that's not always true. Sometimes family knows the most about your indoctrination, not
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah, yeah. I think so too. And I think in some cases, family may know you better than anyone else in certain areas. And then in certain areas, your soul family, who you may not even been raised around, may know you better than anyone else in those areas, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Justine says, I've always wondered who I really was. I can blend in everywhere, really, but I don't feel like I actually fit in anywhere at the same time. Taking on others' mannerisms always made me feel fake as well. I think that's a survival tactic of empaths.
Mm,
Um, elevations in empathy, empathic ability is actually a survival skill as well. It stems from your need to survive the environment that you could not escape as a child
mhm,
or as an adult. You can develop empathic ability as an adult as well.
mhm, mhm,
A. Levine says that's absolutely true. The need for validity goes away. When I find myself in environments like this one, where I don't feel the need to hide myself. Oh, that's such a
beautiful. Yeah,
huge compliment
yeah,
where people can feel they can be who they are.
yes.
And here's the thing, I really do encourage people to be who they are, and I respect who they are. And if who you are is not compatible with who I am, well, you can still be who you are, just not with me anymore.
Mhm, mhm, yes, ma'am.
It's okay for you guys to be who you are and still have that standard of, you know, the person that they are is just not compatible with the person that I am. I'm not going to ask them to change or expect them to change, but I have a standard of existence that is subpar, you know, and that's okay. You don't have to feel badly. For most empaths, you will feel badly for thinking that. We have this projection placed upon us where we have to be unconditionally loving of other people, except yourself, right?
Exactly. And I think that that whole thing of unconditional love and unconditional acceptance, it's not really that. It's like people are expecting you to be an unconditional doormat. No sir, no ma'am, no ham, no turkey.
Oh, you're talking about food, apple bread.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm saying people need to enter into the apple bread of their life.
Oh my gosh, who said that?
Oh, girl, no,
Was it you? Oh yes, yes, snip quo. Somebody snip quo. Yeah, I'm
you
trying
need
to
to
say.
become the apple bread of your environment.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I like that. Guys, if you know, you know. If you don't know, once you order it, you will know. You know,
So
let me ask this too, Emmy. I wonder if you can relate to this. How about being smart and other people around you feeling insecure about their insecurities and like you should be shamed for being smart. You should be shamed for being articulate. You should be shamed for carrying yourself a certain way, you know? Have you experienced that?
my whole life.
Uh-huh. Me too, I understand. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Mm,
The
mhm,
the workspace,
mm.
I know a lot of people can out there can relate. You may even have a supervisor who is not as intelligent as you are. They may even They may even spite you for your figure, which has nothing to do with what you bring to something, but those projections, there's so many areas. Yeah, we're going to talk about it today. So many areas.
Everything, even growing up. Uh, Again, I come from a family with a patriarch who was hyper concerned with the imagery that was being presented because we, as his children, are representations of his ability to succeed
Mm,
and his wealth.
mm,
And so, without me asking, he purchased a vehicle for me to drive. Now, common sense, because I'm a very common sense, logical person, you give a 16-year-old a used car. Okay, like you give them a used car that's reliable but cheap, be practical. Oh no.
mm,
No, that's not what I got.
mm,
And then it became this thing of and see, I'm still ashamed of it to the point
mm,
where I don't want to say what car I drove, you know, because the projections went so deep into my core truth of who I am.
mm,
I don't want people to see me in that way,
mm,
right? It still affects me to this day because this is the very reason I intentionally don't purchase anything that is a luxury brand.
mm,
If I'm gonna have something that is from a luxury brand, it is not gonna have any labels on it. You will not know. It will look very commonplace, and I'll make sure that I get it on clearance just because I don't want to exist as a projection that I was,
mm.
right?
I
Yeah.
want to kind of flip that around a little bit. See, I was playing Uno not too long ago with my nephew, and he destroyed me because it's been a long time since I played Uno. And there's this certain thing where you have a card and you kind of make it go the other way. So I'm not even going to call it a challenge because it's all about sovereignty and everything like that. But I'm going to present this possibility this other way. First, I want to start by saying you can and absolutely deserve to have anything that you want to have. You
Mhm.
work hard, you work very hard. If you want to have a luxury car, if you want to have luxurious items, okay, you can and you absolutely deserve that. I want to kind of have that little Uno card that I'm thinking of in my head and kind of present it in a way where you kind of look at it like this too, if possible. Is that furthering projections?
It is. It is. It is, and that's part of what I'm actually currently working on. I'm realizing now that my lack of desire for luxury items is now just that's who I am. I don't really, I don't like to dress up. I like things that are comfortable. I would prefer to spend the money that I earn on family, on loved ones, on sharing amazing meals, on the house we live in where we're comfortable. It doesn't have to be some fancy mansion, but something where there's enough space. I have a huge family.
Mhm.
So enough everyone to have their space, and also a large enough space for when we kind of dog pile together, which we love to do. We tend to be in the same room at the same time most of the day. And so I found that a lot of the mindset has actually been beneficial for me when I began to apply it consciously, not out of a place of fear.
I love that. I love that. And I can respect that to the fullest. I really truly can. That's a beautiful thing. And I salute you on that. I salute you on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I mean, everything that we've been through as individuals, the things that were designed to destroy us, can actually build our armor or
Mm.
help us to become so empowered in our space that we no longer need to wear it.
I really, really, really agree with that. Pressure can bust pipes, or pressure can help to make diamonds.
Right.
And I think what we're made of really matters because the same fire that can melt plastic is the same fire that can refine the next thing. So, yes,
Yes. And, taking it just a step further, we exist under tremendous pressure day in and day out. And
yes.
again, it can be the pressure that busts the pipes, creates a mess, makes your life miserable, or it could be the pressure that forms the diamonds. But here's the thing, the diamond is not seen as valuable until it goes through the process of being repeatedly cut and
Mhm.
then polished.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So sometimes a lot of the things that we go through as we become aware that we are existing as a projection, we too are projecting into our environment.
Hmm.
That can cut real deep.
Yes.
It can cut real deep. And it's this thing of, um, that's me being formed into a precious gem,
Mm.
going from a raw uh, diamond, a diamond in the rough, and becoming a precious gem. And I know that I am healing the projections that were pushed upon me. So, as a teen, I drove a Mercedes, right?
Hmm.
I
Good
quit
for you, girl. But
to,
I know that you don't really like it, like
I
the
know.
but
Yeah, I took gas guzzlers and, but here was the thing.
Mhm,
I either drove a 560 SEL or
mhm.
I drove a 560 SL convertible two-seater.
Okay.
And it was this thing of like, I will never own a Mercedes. I hate it. I hate the brand. I hate everything that it stands for. It stands for the ways in which I was used as a Stepford daughter. I was a doll. I was living doll. And I have such animosity towards being forced into that role. And I know I'm healing past it because what did I get my son? And I let him choose.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Right.
That's beautiful.
And
Yeah.
it wasn't from this place of, "You're gonna make us look rich." No,
Right.
it's this place of, "Okay," and I explained to him, "Alright, so this is the budget we're working with. We don't wanna go over this budget. I
Mhm,
found this Mercedes. It's within the budget.
mhm.
Remember when grandma got into an accident, all the wheels broke off, she only
Right.
had a little tiny bruise.
Mhm,
Cars are made impeccably for,
mhm,
safety.
mhm,
My concern,
mhm,
safety. Take
mhm.
away the name brand.
Yeah.
This car is built to protect you. You're
Yes.
gonna be driving long distances. I want that comfort of knowing you're safe. You
Absolutely.
want this car. And so he test drove a whole bunch of other cars, and that's the car he selected. And I was like, "Oh, thank God, you're gonna be safe." It
Yeah.
wasn't this luxury
Right.
brand that I was seeing. It
Mhm,
was this company that's known for their safe,
mhm, mhm.
and that's how I know I'm healing past that because I'm not averse to having things that I find value in regardless of the brand name.
Absolutely.
And
That's
it helped to shape me in such a way, other people's projections onto me helped shape me in such a way where it's like, I don't crave these luxury names just to create value for myself.
mhm.
Like, you either see the value in me or you don't, and, it's okay, not everyone has good taste in people.
Hey, oh, that's right. That's right. I'll have a piece of apple bread to that girl.
And that's the thing is that you can totally take the pain that you've experienced and
Yes.
turn it into something that empowers you rather than something that continues to simply chip away at you. If
Absolutely.
you are this huge crystal piece and you're being chipped away at, it better be to turn you into a beautiful piece of art, not just to keep
Absolutely.
chipping away at you until nothing's left.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And You know, it's something that I thought about not too long ago. Too, I saw something this morning. I want to share this with you. It's not limited to the topic of projections, but it could, involve that too. But I saw a video on YouTube this morning, and there was this young woman. She looked very young. She had this newborn on her arm.
Mhm.
She looked so sad, Emmy. She looked so sad. She was talking about how she felt like she was going to lose it, basically. Had this baby on her arm. And even in the midst of that, she's trying to comfort the baby. It's okay, Papa. Just kiss him. It's not like somebody just disconnected from the child, whatever. But girl, the responses from people, she should have made better decisions. She made poor choices. Get over it. All of this stuff.
Mm.
I understand us challenging ourselves and even people around us to be accountable for decisions, what have you. But it's like, have we not made any decisions that weren't the best decisions? Have we not ever been in situations where choosing differently could have had us not in those situations? And have we forgotten how it feels to not be there, to be in this place, to not be in this place that we are right now as we continue to grow, but to be where we were long before this point, right?
Right.
How do you think this ties into not only selective amnesia, but also projections? Is it a certain image that we want to put out there, like, oh, we are just without fault. We are without flaw. We good. We ain't never had these types of problems. You need to do this. You need to do that. Is that a type of projection too? A form of projecting?
Yes, absolutely.
Mm,
Absolutely. I found the people who have the most to say about situations they know nothing about are the people who internally feel they have failed so much that
mm,
they project this false sense of success and awareness. No, no,
mm,
you know, whenever I see people who have so much negativity to say, they're the ones who are the most miserable and have failed the most in their own eyes, and they're trying to project this facade, this image, and it's just
mm-hmm.
yeah.
I agree.
And
And one of your favorite MCs has a line. It's like, you claim I'm smelling. What do you say? You claim I'm selling crack because you be doing that. Oh, but you be doing that. KRS-One, right? It's a very simple example of projecting.
yeah, oh my gosh, I remember there was this one situation. I don't want to give names, but I remember there was this one situation. There was a group of all of us that were having discussions, and the topic came to one person who wasn't there, right? And this one person is always like very severely judged by other people, and someone that was there was like, "Oh my gosh, like he does, you know." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And that person was like he does coke. And I was like, "Oh, how do you know this?" And they're like, "Just trust me." Right? Well, being who I am, I didn't say what they said, but next time I spoke to that person that wasn't there, I was like, "Hey, do you do coke?" They're like, Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes,
Mhm.
when things are really hard, really rough, yeah.
Mm.
I'll use it to cope." And I was like, he goes, "Why you ask?" And I was like, "Well," since I was like, "Trust me, they do coke." And that person who wasn't there was like, "Oh, you mean so and so that I sold coke to?"
Oh, bum bum.
And I was like, I wondered how they knew.
You could just see the crust and the energy. You see the crust pieces just, whoa.
Oh, but no, that person who said that, they present themselves as extremely successful
Oh,
business
yeah.
person, and
Mhm.
that I wondered because it's like you would only know that if you do it together,
Oh,
right?
it's just too much, right?
Because I don't do any illicit substances, like, I don't even drink wine cooler,
Mhm,
right? I don't even take over the counter Tylenol or any of that. I
mhm,
wouldn't know that you're doing that because you wouldn't talk to me about it. I don't do that,
mhm,
right? And so that's the thing. People will try and project this imagery of
mhm.
who they want you to believe they are.
Oh, that's deep. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh.
Had people do this to me where I apparently they use me as a benchmark of their power, their intelligence, all of that stuff. I don't know why.
Mhm,
Because I feel like everyone has value. Everyone has their own intelligence. They can always add something to a conversation, right?
mhm,
They can add something to problem solving. But
mhm.
I've had several people do this where they will try and degrade my work in order to promote their own. And it's like, but weren't you providing services just like me? Like, weren't
Okay.
you getting clients from me? But suddenly parasites are not real? Really?
Mhm,
What
mhm,
branded my neck with a number 3 when no one touched me?
mm,
Imagination, I projected onto my neck a strength.
mhm,
You're accusing me of self-harming and hiding it from people?
mhm.
And that's the thing is that people will see your value and understand it better than you understand it yourself.
Oh, girl. How many people out there can relate to that? How many people out there know she is speaking straight? Hey, me too. Know she's speaking straight facts right now.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, that is so true. They can see it better than us a lot of times.
yeah.
And boy, it's like if they can just get to that light and just kind of put something over it. But if we don't know, we don't know. So today we also want to talk about how we can distinguish what we are, who we are, what we're feeling from the projections of others, and how can we get to who we are beyond the projections of others.
What do you think? What's a good way to get beyond it?
Well, I think it may work a little different for me because, well, not for me as to you, but than some people out there, because I've always been the type, for the most part, what I feel about me and my core that I don't share with everyone, you know, that's important to me first and foremost. Doesn't mean that other things don't affect me, and they have, they definitely have. But I think that one way we can, I'm a private person too, you know, some of us are not so private. So some may tell all their business, put it all out there, but not be comfortable with what's happened. Not be at a point where, hey, if you say something that I did in my past, you can't weaponize that because I accept that, or I embrace that. It's a part of who I am. But not everybody is there, but still put business out there, but aren't ready to have the ramifications of that business coming back. And some people are just private to where it's like, it's not really about me keeping everything secret. I'm just a very private person and I don't feel to share with everybody. People are different. But I think recognizing what I'm feeling really is first. When did I start feeling this? Have I always felt this way? Because if I didn't always feel this way, I started to feel this way at some point. Even sometimes we have to dig back into the inner child, things that were projected on us as children, whether from a malevolent place or a benevolent place. Projection is a projection. And if a projection is not compatible with who you are, where you're trying to go, then I think malevolent or benevolent in origin, they should be dealt with. What do you think?
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. It's this thing of being aware of how what you share will be used against you. And
Mhm,
it kind of is a horrible thing that we have to basically exist in a state where we're just waiting for people to be malignant and malicious towards us. But that's kind of the reality of the world that we're in.
mhm,
It will change, but it will take effort on our part as individuals,
mhm,
right? So, one of two things. if you don't yet have the internal strength, the fortitude, as well as the stamina to go
Mm.
through the things that you will go through by revealing certain types of information, do not reveal it.
Wisdom.
Okay? Keep your aha moment to yourself or to people who you know you can trust will
Wisdom.
not weaponize it.
Yeah.
Okay? If you can, if you do have the stamina, and I think most of us have more stamina than we realize. We've been through so much and have dealt with so much
Hmm.
consistently that we don't realize how strong we are. Right.
Hmm. I agree. I agree.
So if you do have the fortitude and the stamina, I would go ahead and just be myself
Mm.
and let the chips fall where they fall. And when people show you who they are in regards to um, their expectations of you, let them show you and believe them the first time.
Yes.
I've had so many people tell me like, "I love you so much. I mean, you are so truthful, your integrity." And the moment they felt they could benefit with someone else,
Hmm.
"Oh, Emmy is a witch.
Yeah.
Emmy is
Yeah.
wicked." Okay, first off, I'm a sorceress.
Oh, get it straight. Get it straight.
Okay. We are born this way. Okay. All right. Don't limit me to just the witch. I was a sorceress in multiple lives. Be accurate. And it's this thing of like, oh, you can see the darkness in Emmy. Yes. Why are you afraid of it?
Mm.
Right.
Mm.
I ask people point blank, what is your intention with what you're trying to say right now?
Mm.
And they stammered like, oh, what,
Mm.
what do you mean? What is your intended outcome with
Hmm.
this conversation you're initiating? What do you mean by this question?
Right.
Why can't you answer the question? Well, I will answer the question, but first I want to know to what degree uh, are you trying to get me to answer and why? You know?
Exactly.
And usually, if they can't answer that, I know that they are trying to set the stage to
Hmm.
try and get me to falter in some way.
Hmm.
One of the ways that I get through that type of situation, I don't know if it'll work for everyone, but this is what I do. I become so blunt in my truth that they don't know where they were going with that after they hear what I had to say. you
That's
know? And now it's like, and I say it without any apologies either, not in an aggressive way, but just blurt it out, and
no.
then just like, "Is that what you wanted?" And they're like, "Oh, she's not scared with what I'm gonna do with what she said."
Right. Right. And don't mess around and become the mirror of their projections.
Right.
Don't
So,
mess around and become the mirror of their projections, because once they start seeing who they are.
yeah, I remember one time there was this, guy, and he was overseas, and he was so upset because he couldn't kind of like corner me and make me his little pet, right? No, he was not. I don't believe he was attracted to me in a romantic sense, but I do believe he has some type of narcissistic tendencies, and he thought I was going to be his little pet. And
Mm,
I was like, no, no, because this is when all I ever showed was just niceness and sweetness and softness and
I
joking.
know.
No, they didn't know, girl. They didn't know the level of assault life. I'm saying, I'm saying. And so one time he made a post. I knew it was directed at me. Excuse me. I call my husband daddy, right? And the culture that we're in right now, uh, people think that when you call someone daddy, it's something sexual, like, hey, daddy. Like, no, I call him daddy because in my culture, you teach your children how to address the adults in their life, the individuals in their life, by calling them what they are.
Mm,
Cousin, I call her cousin.
mhm, mhm,
Daddy, I call him daddy. I used to call him papa when the kids called him papa.
mhm,
Hey, papa, can you get me this? And that's just one of the things. Like, we call my aunts for my children, auntie grandmas,
mhm,
grandma so and so, and
mhm,
just how our children are raised. And
Mhm.
this person was like, "Oh, Emmy has daddy issues. That's why she called her husband daddy all the time." And so I went live. I was like, "I absolutely have daddy issues. I come from a narcissist who was very, very malignant in siblings. And so if you would like me to discuss that further, I definitely will. But why do you think it's sexualized? Because it's not sexualized on my end. Do you
Mhm.
have daddy issues? Are you, Oedipus complex? Is that what it
Mhm.
is? You got Oedipus complex?
Not the Oedipus complex.
I said Oedipus. I did. I said, and they're like, "Oh, it's not okay to make fun of people with mental health problems." I was like,
Interesting, right?
yeah,
Interesting. Like I'm the hot stove. I minded my business, yo. Nobody told you to come over here. You keep getting closer, you keep getting closer, you put your hand on it, you got burnt. Now it's my fault that you got burnt. I was minding my business.
yeah.
Peace and peace.
Yes, yes. And people will do this. They will project onto you the very thing that they are doing. I had
Yes.
another person, someone sent me the screenshots of the messages this person was sending them.
Mm.
This is an individual who would go on my live streams and try and attack me, and I would just kind of deflect the energy. And sometimes you would see that I make faces because in my head, I'm like, "Why do you do this? I don't
Mhm.
wanna hurt you. Why do you do this? I know you're hurting, but I also see there's goodness in you. Why do this?" But I
Mm.
didn't say anything while I was live, and
Mhm.
it just so happens I have the screenshot of message that she was sending. Someone was like, "Look, I'm on her live stream right now, and she's feeling my energy, and it's making her feel sick. I can tell, look at her face."
Exactly.
And I distinctly remember that moment, like, "Does she not think I know?
Right.
She doesn't think that I know what she's doing?"
Right. Right. Isn't that crazy? That's really crazy.
Yeah.
Girl, I don't know what be wrong with these people out in here. I don't know what's wrong with these people out in the world, but it is so true.
Yeah.
So
People
true.
who project like that are people who don't have the capacity to heal themselves.
That's
They just
deep.
don't, you
That's
know?
deep. That's deep. So
So,
you go from person to person to inflict that pain with no intent or capacity to heal themselves, basically. Wow,
yes.
it's
So
ridiculous.
I found with some of these mindsets, these type of people, they will inflict pain and injury on others in order to be able to be in an environment with individuals who are in as much pain as they are and feeling
Mhm.
as broken as they feel
Oh, girl, that's a word.
to your environment.
That's a word. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. What about experiences out there? Anybody experiencing has anybody experienced or is anybody experiencing the things that we're discussing right now?
I see what Kavi wrote. This is beautiful. Mama could have seen you as an architect, daddy could have seen you as an archetype. Either one could project the wrong trajectory in our lives.
Mm,
And until you take full control and accountability of who you are in your most authentic state, you
mm,
are nothing but a projection of a trajectory that was created by someone outside of you.
mm. It's deep. Really, really deep, you know?
Yeah.
And I know that on last night, the live stream, I didn't hear everything, and I'm not really going to go into it. I mean, it was last night, but it makes me think of projections too. You know, um, I don't know if the particular person that was on the stream was a supervisor and had a supervisor who was doing certain things, but guys, it can happen everywhere. But I want to say if you are in a work situation, please do your due diligence. I can't say this enough to document, you know? Um, but I think that this is more common than we think too, Emmy. What about when people mean well and they project onto others? Let's say they wanted to have a certain career as a child. They may not have had that career. They want their child to have that career, or it was expected of them to have a certain thing, and they have it, and they want their child to carry it on. What do you think? Because And I know there's tradition, but there's also projection. Sometimes the line may be a little blurry. Sometimes we may not know, but sometimes it doesn't have to come from a place of malevolence or a place from, you know, I ain't nothing. I ain't never gonna be nothing, and I don't want you to be nothing. It'll have to come from all of those places. Sometimes it can come from a very well-meaning place. What do you have to say about that?
Well, that perfectly kind of explains the culture that I come from. There's a lot of hardship in the Philippines. There's a lot of suffering, a lot of struggling, a lot of just poverty, outright poverty. And the parents, they work so hard to not just help their children to survive the poverty, but to also provide their children with opportunities to make more of themselves
Right.
than they were able to.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it doesn't come from a place of toxicity. It comes from this desire for your child to have a better life than what you were capable of creating,
Mhm.
right? But
Yes.
then that's a very slippery slope because at the same time, my family, we immigrated when I was little. And it was this thing of having been groomed to be something medical, right? And because of the environment that I lived in, I felt that my specialty, I would have a dual specialty of cardiothoracic surgery and neurology.
Mhm.
And then it became this thing of like, you need to be a very high paying type of job so that you will be our retirement fund.
Mm.
Because why?
Mhm.
You know? And again, that's part of the culture, right? Like the parents work so hard, and when they can no longer work, you really should. If you come from a space of poverty, you really should.
Mhm.
You should take care of your elders. I absolutely believe that. But then it came from this thing of recognizing, that toxic patriarch wanted to be able to have allowances to play golf
Mm.
in Hawaii.
Mm.
So that, and they already had their car picked out. They were gonna have a Porsche Cayenne. I was like, "Who's gonna pay for that?"
Mm.
"You are. That's why you need to have." No, that's not taking care of you anymore. That's you manipulating me into being an indentured servant of some kind. Like,
Mm.
no. And then other insecurities and other issues began to be projected, and it's like, well, why do you have to be that? That's such an expensive education. Why can't you just be a nurse?
Mm.
You're trying to be better than everyone.
Mm.
Nurse is not good enough. And it's like, if I have the capacity to be a cardiothoracic surgeon and a neurologist, do not limit me.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know there's a lot of projections that go on that come from people's insecurities. Does that mean my mother was a bad person because she said that? No, it means she had insecurities that she was struggling to work through, and I was not going to be the receiver of those insecurities.
Mm. Oh.
And that's all that. And people have heard mom. I talk about her in a very matter of fact way. And it's this thing of, I can talk about her in a matter of fact way and share some of the toxic traits because she's not simply a toxic person. We all have toxicity. My opinion of my mother is still a very positive, very loving opinion of her.
Mhm.
She's the mother that I needed even when I couldn't understand.
Mm.
It was the exposure to the projections of her insecurities and self doubts that helped to shape me into the person that I am, someone who will not be limited by my own insecurities and self doubts.
Mm.
But that's because I chose to be that.
Yes.
So the projections can absolutely empower you if you choose how to allow it to empower you.
Mm.
Everyone has toxicity.
Mhm.
Everyone has insecurities. Everyone does this projection. Everyone receives others' projections.
Mhm.
On days where I feel real small and insignificant, all of you guys project this beautiful opinion that I'm a good person, that I'm worth your time, worth holding space with. And that carries me through the day.
Mm.
Not all projections are bad. It's what
Mhm.
we do with the projection that
Mm.
make it good or bad.
I like that. Snip quo. Snip quo. Yes, I like that. So, how can we take the projections that were once stumbling blocks and transform them into building blocks?
Well,
Even
okay.
though they're always building blocks,
Yeah, they were only, and that's the thing is,
this to another.
yeah, the shift in perception, right? And it can begin with being rebellious to what they tried to convince you to program you with.
Mm,
Be rebellious to that. And as you're rebelling against that, not just wilding out, but uh, an intelligent type of rebellion where you're using it to help guide you to not be a lesser reflection of that person,
mm,
right? You can do that, or if you've had enough experience already with neutralizing the negativity in order to return to a neutral state, you
mhm,
can simply observe, where does this projection root itself into in my thoughts, in
mm,
my perceptions? Um, I know that my insecurity about being intelligent comes from my toxic patriarch uh, needing to make sure that I was never aware of how much more intelligent I actually am
mm,
in comparison to him. Because if I know that, I can outsmart him. I won't cower at his feet, but I didn't cower anyways,
mhm, mhm,
right? He could never break that of me,
mhm,
never get me to cower. And
mhm,
so now, as an adult and aware of legislations, aware of laws, aware of civil codes and all of this, he tiptoes around me.
mm,
He knows, give me a reason. I'm finally at a place, I will punish you. Give me a reason. Until
mm,
you give me a reason, I'm going to stay in my lane because I'm
mhm,
not you. I don't go out of my way to look for ways to hurt and harm people.
mm,
A reason. You put me in that protection mode. I promise you. Everything you have earned from childhood on up, you will be receiving delivered by me.
mm.
So he steers clear of me.
That's understandable.
It's one of those things. I understand the value of the experiences I had because of my exposure to him as a child. I understand the ways he contributed to my strength, and it wasn't through encouragement and nurturing. You know, my strength comes as a form of rebellion to his very oppressive nature.
Mm,
But I'm grateful that I chose the things that I chose coming into this life, and I decided to do what I decided to do with the things that I was given by this life.
mhm, mhm.
I will never simply be a byproduct of someone else's projections.
Right.
That's a choice that I make consciously every day.
Absolutely. I love that. I love it. How many of you out there are ready to be who you are, embrace who you are beyond the projections of others? Can we get a hashtag? I'm ready. In the meantime, what do you say, Emmy?
I'm gonna hashtag it because I'm ready to.
Girl, hashtag it, girl. See, this was really an excuse to get up and get some apple bread. When y'all are hashtagging, I'm going to get up and have some apple bread. No, I'm not going to do it.
Show them the pumpkin bread too. I think they need to see some of that goodness.
Oh, baby, you want me to for real?
Yes, go for it, girl.
Okay, okay. I'll be back, guys.
How many of you guys are resonating so deeply with what our conversation has been sharing with you? How many of you are finally reaching a place where it's like, okay, I get it. I get it. I need to do more than simply be a byproduct of what I've lived through, a byproduct of other people's perceptions of me. You know, a lot of the different things that I have had people project out onto me have been things that have fueled my rebellious nature.
Okay, you don't expect me to be serious with this stuff in my hand, right?
No,
You
go.
don't expect this of me. Okay, but I'm not going to eat any because I know what it does to me. I can be honest about that. I'm not going to do that on live ever again. This is happy apple bread, happy bread. But so guys, if you didn't know, we also have individual personal sizes, right? We have the loaves and we have the personal sizes. So this is a personal size. This is pumpkin bread.
Open it up, girl.
No. So you trying to, yeah, I know what you're trying to do. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna open it up.
And then at least break it apart so they
Oh,
see the
guys.
interior of it.
That's nice, right? Let's fly. Okay. So
Okay, unwrap it. Take it out of its little container.
she's so wrong. She's so wrong. And it's packaged so nicely. I don't even want to disturb the packaging.
Girl.
Too. Oh my, look at that. Oh my gosh, guys. Do you all see that?
Mmm.
Mm-mm. Oh gosh, as soon as like if you could smell this bread. Ooh. So where are my people out there who know how to cook? Even if you don't know how to cook gluten-free and grain-free, who know how to cook, who know the seasonings, who know the spices, who can smell certain things and be like, ah, I smell this, I smell that. I guarantee you, you're gonna smell this and you're gonna start like, oh my gosh, this is good stuff. But you know, guys, it I can't believe, you know how they have the I can't believe it's butter? You know, I can't believe it's gluten free and I can't believe it's grain free and I can't believe it's delicious.
You
It's,
gotta rip it open. You have to.
you know
Rip
what?
it
You
in
see what
half
you
so
see
they can
you?
see.
See you?
Yeah, so they can see.
Terrible influence. Just oh my gosh, look at that. Ooh, 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 ooh. Guys.
Ooh.
Guys, when I tell you, okay, you know what? I'm just
Just
gonna have
eat a
a little
piece.
small.
Yeah, just a little piece. Just a little piece. Just go ahead. It's okay.
This is so good. I'm not going to. I'm gonna show you the apple bread, okay? I'm gonna show you the apple bread. Excuse me. But what I'm not going to do is eat the apple bread while I'm on live. I'm not even gonna take a little piece. You're not doing that to me. This is apple bread. Mm. Again, the packaging is so cute. I love it.
You need an ASMR channel.
What do you say?
You need an ASMR
You
channel.
think so? Okay, hold on. Let me practice. Let me practice. Apple bread. I'm going to open the package.
Girl, just rip it open. The intensity of the weight.
Now,
Ooh.
do you see the apples? Of course you don't because my hand is so red. Now, do you see them? Gradually, gradually. I'm going to tear the apple bread. She just, after that point, she just demolishes the apple bread. But guys, look at this. Oh my gosh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Have you ever seen gluten free and grain free so moist?
Oh.
Oh, girl, I'm not going to, guys. If you want to see my honest reaction to apple bread in real time or recorded in real time, you can look at the podcast where I was eating apple bread. I promise you, it's not the best for me to do because I'll be laughing and so giddy and making jokes, guys. One thing you don't know about this bread, it tastes good, but it also feels good. If you all were on that live when I was eating apple bread live, go ahead and just be honest. How was I doing? How was
You
I doing?
you know what? You know
Was
what Michael said?
no, Michael didn't say nothing. Don't be trying to get me to eat no apple bread on live. What did Michael say?
To just have that one little piece to
No,
treat yourself.
that's Emmy. Emmy. No, 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 no.
You know
That
what?
was so
You
good.
are projecting upon yourself society's limitations of what you can and cannot do in front of others.
You know what? You are so right. You are so right. I didn't think of it that way. Just because that, I'm going to take this apple bread and I'm going to say, psych, I'm not doing it. I'm not going for it. I love you, but no can do. Not today. Guys, it's so good though. It's really, really good. Like really, really good. And speaking of projections, can you project onto me your skill of making that grain-free and gluten-free apple bread so good? Can you project that onto me?
Yes.
Okay.
All I have to do is have all of my children stay in the kitchen with you and watch you intensely, like, "Mommy, are you putting enough love? Are you stirring love into it?" And then it will taste so good.
Girl, it's full of love. It's full of beautiful energy. It's full of goodness on all levels. It tastes so good. Guys, I'm not just saying this. I could not believe that something gluten free and grain free could taste that good. I'm a believer.
Just to kind of share with you guys, it ties into projection. So all of the ingredients are kept at my residence, right? And my team has to come to like hell hours away. They have to drive hours upon hours and come to my residence and bake. And here's the thing. My energy is projected into every nook and cranny of whatever dwelling I occupy. And it was the most beautiful evidence of my theories of projection, because a mother came um, to a bake sale that was being had, and their family cannot have specific things, very similar to my family. And one of the children is autistic, right? That's what she said.
Yes, she did.
And because of his sensitivities, he's very, very picky about textures and flavors. And she shared with us that, when they let him try new things, which I think he doesn't agree to try new things very often. But when he does try new things, it's just a small piece, and they let him kind of decide, like, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want another little piece? Want a little bit more? Do you want no more? And she sent us this video where he asked for a bigger piece, and it was so good, and he loved it. And it's this thing of um, autistic children. They have the capacity to read energy, the energy of what's been made, who's made it. It goes beyond just flavors. And it's this thing of these breads are created to be healing on an etheric level.
Mm,
That's
mm,
why they taste the way they do. People
mm,
don't realize they are tasting the energy.
mm,
You can buy Alpha bread from anywhere. You
mm.
really can. But will you have the same experience with apple bread as you would with Soulworks Synergistic apple bread? Probably not.
Mm,
Probably not. Things are set up in such a way where I literally walk past all of these raw ingredients day in and day out. They are infused with my energy.
mm,
They are kept in the appropriate baking equipment beneath my bedroom. So it's this thing of like, yeah, no, that's infused with my energy. No matter what, it's all infused with my energy. And that's why a lot of the descriptions that you'll see for the apple bread, for all of our breads, for our oils, everything, it is supportive of your ascension mechanics. It's infused with my energy. Do you know what type of energy I hold within my home? It's the most elevated mother type energy, the kind of mother that wants you to heal, that wants you to succeed. Projections are not always a bad thing. Oftentimes, projections can be something that can help tide you over and
mm,
get you through the rough patches. Think of a time where you felt like you had no one, not even your mother.
mm,
How would it have benefited you to have had your mother there,
mm,
had her holding you, encouraging you, telling you it's going to be okay. We'll get through this. We will help. Okay. Because, most of us don't have that, unfortunately. And that's the reality. Um, most of us don't have that. And we need to just kind of find other ways to receive that supportive energy, that supportive projection from people who are healthy and capable of it,
mm.
right?
I like that. Supportive projection. I never thought of it in that terms. I love that. Supportive projection. Wow.
Everything in life has a positive and a negative,
Mm-hmm.
but human limitations, they assign things, it's either or. It's either positive or negative. ADHD, that's a negative thing. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, it's not. I have ADHD. I'm more than functional. It gives me the capacity to be able to hyperfixate and multitask in ways that most people cannot. Depression, oh, that's all just negative. No, that's your body slowing you down so you can finally take a moment to breathe and
Mm-hmm.
sift through the pain. You should not be taking in any more pain right now. You should allow that pain to rise to the surface, be recognized and released. That is depression.
Mm-hmm.
Feel good, but there's positivity to it. I
Mm-hmm.
learned so much about myself when I went through several bouts of clinical depression. There's depression and then there's clinical depression.
Mm-hmm.
Clinical depression is a whole nother breed of pain.
Mm-hmm.
No one chooses to be depressed. Please get the F out of here. People are like, you could just choose to get up. Really? You think I chose to lay in bed for the past 6 days?
Mm-hmm.
Not drinking, not eating, not anything? Is that a choice? That's not a choice. That's your life slowing you down because you refuse to.
Mm-hmm. Steve,
Yeah.
I know it seems so random, but I feel like this is for someone out there, even in terms of projection and those tapes playing. Someone may be in a relationship, someone may be in a marriage, and your spouse or your significant other may have cheated on you. In
Mhm.
those projections of, you know, all those tapes, I'm not enough. Oh, if you would have been doing this, then she wouldn't have done that, or he wouldn't have done that. And I would encourage you to go back and look at what we're talking about with projections
Yeah.
and depression, and know that you can come out of it. Know that the people that are talking to you, right? The people in the community that are leaving comments and are here, with that loving support, even if they don't comment much, know that so many of us have been through so much, but we're growing beyond projections. We're growing beyond self-imposed limitations that are sometimes the result of projections, and there is another way.
There's always another way.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is always another way for you to receive other people's projections. You cannot control whether or not someone will project onto you their toxicity, their insecurities, or whatever it is, but you can absolutely control the way you receive that projection,
Mm.
right?
I love
So, again, toxic patriarch growing up, and he would spew all sorts of derogatory things pretty much to everyone. For me personally, um, there were a lot of the things that he would say to me to try and tear down my character, my value as a woman, as a female. And it was always this thing of like, no, I'm not. What are you going to do? I don't believe that. When he found out that I had a tattoo, when I was 18, I got a tattoo, and it was the tramp stamp.
the food stamp.
A tramp stamp. Yeah,
Oh,
I got it
that's
on my low back.
just what was said to you as a tramp
Oh,
stamp.
no, 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 that's what they were calling it then. I don't know if you remember how they call it. That's the location that I got my tattoo in, and I figured because I never wear midriff shirts, it'll never be seen. I wanted to stay hidden, that's why I put it there.
Okay.
Because sometimes I'll wear, like, backless or low cut backs, but I never wear midriff, so that's always hidden, and it just so happened that I dropped something, and I bent down to pick it up, and then he saw a little bit of it. And I remember he was like, "Oh, you're a stripper and you're this and that." No, I'm not. Like, what do you think of me that you would, and
Ooh.
yeah, he was like saying all kind of stuff. I'm a working girl and blah 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 blah. That's where I'm at all day. I'm like, no, I'm at school.
Mm.
I'm at school, and then I'm at work, and then I'm here doing chores, and then I'm back at school, full workload, and then back at work, working over 40 hours a week. Oh no, because that's why you're never home because you're no, I'm never home because you are toxic.
Well, since you brought it up,
No, I for real said that to him. No, I'm never home because I don't like you. You're toxic. And he
Wow.
was like, "Oh, you're so disrespectful." I'm like, "I pretty much learned it from you."
Deep,
Know? Like
deep.
you can say whatever you want to say to everyone, but no one can say it. And they won't say anything to you back, but I will.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where the projection was then harvested and sent right back. They
Uh-huh.
didn't
I
like it.
don't like that.
Yeah,
They
they
don't
didn't
like
like it.
that.
And it's like, no, you're not going to degrade me as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
especially as a female that it's so old fashioned.
Yes.
I'm so very old-fashioned in my connections with people,
Mm-hmm.
and for you to accuse me of things and try and degrade me because your opinions,
Mm-hmm.
because you couldn't control that, your hold over me is diminishing. I'm not financially dependent on you. No, I'm not gonna accept your projection in that way. I'll harvest it and I'll throw it right back at you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not always necessary, but sometimes that's the solution. "Oh, you
Yes,
better leave." Yeah, he never called me that again.
I can understand that. I understand that. And like you said, it's not always necessary, but sometimes that's the solution.
Yeah,
I'm all for that. Like I don't like to do more than what is necessary when people need to get certain things.
yeah,
Very principled, but when it's necessary, I will do so without any guilt because it's necessary.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, another memory that I have is being in an ER. My mother just had a stroke. He's trying to start an argument with me. He's on one side of her bed, I'm on the other, and he's trying to project this aggressive energy at me, and I'm just like, "This is not good for the patient."
Mm,
Very calm, very neutral,
mhm,
and, I was like, "You might need to leave."
mhm.
"Are you threatening me?" And I was like, "Do you feel threatened? Do you feel threatened? You're the only one that's, like, talking loud and being aggressive in your communications. Do you feel threatened?"
Mm. What
You know?
was the answer? Just out of curiosity, asking for a friend, right? What they say?
Oh, oh, his face turned real red, and he yelled for the doctor,
Oh,
and I was like, "That's the estranged husband."
oh my goodness.
That's all I said, and so they escorted him out, and I was like,
Oh, child.
"This is for the patient, she just had a stroke," and he's the estranged husband. Yeah, and they escorted him out. I didn't have to yell. See, that's the thing. Sometimes it's appropriate to harvest and project back at them, and sometimes you don't mirror any of that.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
have to know the environment that you're in and what's appropriate.
I,
Because if I were to mirror that back, then obviously we're both gonna be kicked out.
mm-hmm. And your mom probably would have suffered too, her health, feeling all that, even if she couldn't hear and everything. Wow.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where you have to know yourself and what you can handle.
Mm,
You have to.
mm,
Was there anything that I needed to be afraid of? What would he project onto me? What legal stuff? What did I do? What legal grounds are you standing on?
mm,
Her power of attorney.
mm-hmm,
To kick me out, she gave me her power of attorney.
mm-hmm,
You've maintained separate residences for years, separate finances, separate everything.
mm-hmm,
You are literally an estranged spouse.
mm,
Is it, he wants to accuse me of what? Absconding with her finances? Check all her accounts.
mm.
Everything is documented,
Documented.
her deposits, withdrawals, all that. But what do you have on me that I need to be afraid? And
Mm.
see, that's the thing. People who project onto you, they're typically like chihuahuas. They just bark, 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 right? To try and intimidate you into a space of compliance. I might be chihuahua sized, but I'm the type that doesn't bark or growl. I wait until you're close enough so I can draw blood.
I understand completely because you can do all that projecting, you can do all that talking. I'm not going to be doing all this back and forth with you all day, but understand it's good to leave peace in peace.
Can
It's
you kind of,
piece of peace.
um, could you explain what you mean by leaving peace and peace so people understand the gravity of it? If it's some like Southern sayings, it's said in such a polite way that people don't grasp the full gravity of how powerful the statement is.
Mm, okay. Leave peace in peace. I say that it is both honorable and wise to leave peace in peace, right? I'm going to tell you something about the dimensions of that. It's honorable because I feel I should not hurt, harm, injure, unnecessarily offend any person, even an insect, anything that's not bothering me. I believe that none of us should bother things that are not bothering us, people or things. I full heartedly believe I'm a peaceful person, but you lay a finger on me and you will realize why it's better to leave peace in peace because you might leave in pieces. I'm just being honest, right? Leave peace in peace. Y'all get it? Good. All right.
That's why I resonate with you from day one because people will see what you allow them to see, and I can see past it. I'm like, gangsta.
Take one to know one, girl. And take one to know one.
I was like, we cannot go grocery shopping together.
Oh no, oh no. But yeah, you're right. That's why it's just so natural and automatic with us. We get it. And we both come up from a place that we honor, we
Mhm.
respect, and that's how we move.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's
And
how
and it's this thing of, being able to perfectly mirror each other's integrity and intention, and sharing necessary communication if there's any question of potential misalignment,
absolutely.
right? Not in an
Absolutely.
accusatory way either. It's just like, "Hey, let's talk about, whatever project, which direction should we go?"
Mhm.
There's no assumptions. There's no attempt to control or dominate from either of us. To the point where sometimes I'm like, "Can you just decide?"
Oh,
Like,
yeah, when it comes to policy. Now, you know, I have such a respect for sovereignty, such a respect for so many things. So it's like, well, what do you think? You know,
right.
this might possibly such and such, but certain things like, oh, no, 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 no. Policy, procedure, compliance, girl, cost benefit analysis. Hey.
Like, when I have these renegade ideas, I mean, you're so good at like, "Oh, no, 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 no. How about we try?"
Right.
Yeah, no, it's
So well.
beautiful.
It works so well.
Yeah, it's very, very beautiful to be able to recognize when someone is even very mildly trying to project something just to gain agreement and to be able to hold your ground. Because I feel like, "Just say yes." We just pick anywhere. We be vigilante with our bread right now. Just pick anywhere, girl. She's like, "No." She's like, "No projections here. Policy, procedure, cost benefit analysis." I'm like, "Good, you're
She is not even exaggerating, guys. True stories all over the place.
right." I would just, we will deny, deny, deny. I will go to jail for us, girl. I will say it's all me. Take the stickers off everything.
Yeah, no. I love you, though. I love you. I really do. We're going to find another way, girl. We're going to find another way.
Exactly what she said. I was like, "We just won't put any signs up. If anything, we'll put Emmy evolving in the bucket. Be like, it's Emmy evolving bread. What you want? I am Emmy." And then she's like, "No, no, no. I love you. We'll find another way."
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely.
I totally. Girl, the apple bread's worth going to jail for. I'm saying.
But you know what? You have a point there, girl. I gotta watch myself around that apple bread. You got a point there, girl.
I mean, projections can work in so many different ways.
Yeah, they can.
They can be very, very healthy if they come from someone who is balanced and aware of what their intention is, and the intention has integrity.
Mm.
Uh, at the end of the day, even good intentions, um, good intended projections, the person who's receiving it still has the power to reject it if they want.
Absolutely. I love that. That's a very nice takeaway. I love it. Before we run out of time, I want to ask this because I think it's very important. What products and or services do you have that can help with any of the stuff we're discussing? I think there are a lot, but I just want to ask you.
There definitely are a lot. Some of the most effective things would be like the oil blends, Emmy elixirs, as well as the divinity oils from Solar Synergistic, because you carry that in your pocket.
Hmm.
You know, it's very cost effective. You carry it in your pocket, and whenever you need a little top up of a reminder of your divinity, your sovereignty, roll some more on. You
I
know,
love
and then the smells for all of them, the Emmy elixirs and the divinity oils,
that. Hmm.
they're not very overpowering. So you don't have to worry about, everyone in the room smelling you. They're scented perfectly, perfect
Hmm.
relative
Yeah,
and quality of scent.
they are.
Um, other other types of services that people could consider, mentorship is always a really good thing.
Hmm.
Mentorship or even an Emmy eval.
Hmm.
Those
Oh,
are very, very good things. I don't talk about a private Emmy eval very much. I don't think I've ever talked about it publicly. People are only aware of the Emmy eval on expedites.
yeah.
I mean, could you imagine having an entire hour with me and I'm really all up in every aspect that you struggle with and being able to give you clarity at the depth that you need, not
Girl.
at the limitations of the practitioner you've went to.
Ooh, ooh, I love it. I love it. And I especially love that it is offered privately. I didn't even know it was offered privately, guys. I love that you're offering it privately because if anybody, I have, if anybody has ever had an Emmy eval expedite, you know how thorough it is. You know how on point it is. And what happens with the Emmy eval is that whatever is needed. How does it work? They're what's the amount that's chosen? I know your higher self directs it all, and you actually let me stop talking because I didn't write this stuff up, so I want to be careful. I'm not advertising anything incorrectly and accurately, but how does it work? Tell me that for expedite, and then we can even go into beyond an expedite for a private session. We can imagine, but you're here, so run it.
So this is so not going to be good, but I'm the kind of person where if I find something, I'm not leaving it. I'm just not. There's no way I'm going to leave you in pain. There's no way I'm not going to do everything that I could possibly do to try and correct the root causation of what's causing this issue for you. So for the Emmy Eval Expedite, you don't have as much time with me because it's an expedited request, but you get at least two of the different expedites that I have available that day. Your higher self will decide. More in a more transparent communication, I don't just stop it to like basically short of an extraction, whatever your higher self asks me to do, that's what I do. You know,
Mm,
I wrote that it's only two, but truthfully, I do more than just two activations, clearings, or whatever it is. The
mhm,
Emmy Eval private session, that's a whole nother breed of session, a whole nother type of session.
mm,
Now, it's basically the mentorship, but I'm not giving you um, the techniques to maintain it. We go through everything, literally everything. Whatever your higher self wants me to explore, whatever questions you have, we go through everything.
mhm,
One of my most recent Emmy evals, um, what did come up for me and my client is that they had been given so much information by other practitioners. But here's the thing, first, I clarified I am not trying to, devalue anyone else's work or skills. But here's the thing. If you have information that is good and they don't possess the appropriate level of frequency to access that, they cannot give that to you, and they probably will lack awareness of that information.
Mm.
I, on the other hand, can reach frequencies that are in excess of this time space matrix. What information you need, if your higher self is willing, I absolutely will give you that information.
Mhm.
Absolutely. One time I had a client who was asking me a question about this and that. And I was like, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. And she's like, Emmy, don't lie to me. Don't keep secrets from me. I need to know. And I was like, hold on, homie.
Right?
Maybe I'm being blinded because I would give you that information.
Mm.
Like I literally am being blinded and my ears covered. I am not receiving any information.
Mhm.
That's telling me your higher self does not want me to interfere.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's not
Mhm.
because like I don't think you can handle it. I'm literally not being told.
Yes.
Because yo, when we in private session, I got a blabbermouth like no other. And people be like, girl, did you know? Ooh, what you saw? You know?
I can see you as Digi Emmy.
Yeah. I will tell you anything and everything that I pick up on. And sometimes the higher self knows this and doesn't want me to tell you so that it doesn't create a bias for the event or whatever circumstance that you're going to live through, right? um, the Emmy eval is something that's really, really beneficial. We can do a lot of work in that time period, a lot, because the reality is, if I'm focused and there's no other distractions, I can completely recode everything and do like 5 or 6 different activations in a matter of like 30 seconds. I could do that all synergistically at once.
Exaggerating, guys.
Yeah, I draw it out just so that I don't inadvertently send too much energy, because if it's on a live stream, I'm aware of everyone's energy on that live stream, on top of the freaking individual the individuals who didn't enter into the live stream on Facebook because they think that will keep me from detecting their energy and their presence.
Mm. Mm.
So for any given live stream, I'm keeping tabs on the intentions and energetic maneuverings of in excess of 100 people.
Mhm.
So yeah, I have to slow it down to make sure I don't send too much energy. But in a private session, it's just me and you.
Mhm.
I can get that done in literally like 30 seconds, and we can spend the rest of the time uncovering other things.
Mm.
Yeah.
Invaluable, guys. Invaluable. I thank you for explaining all of that. There are a couple more things I want to say. Um, just trying to figure out which one I should say last because okay, I'm gonna say this first. Speaking of projection, guys, if you do not know, there is a legal fund for Emmy.
Oh, girl.
Yes, yes, because I didn't even think of that relating to projections and everything like that, but yes. So can we go there for a little bit?
Okay.
Is that okay? You feel
Yes.
comfortable with? Okay. There's a legal fund for Emmy. If you do not know this harassment, and it's beyond just harassment, it's been ridiculous going on for the last, what, 2 years, 2.5 years almost?
Yeah, we're working on the 3rd year already.
You and your family.
Mhm.
And these have not been little threats. I don't know if you guys have been on, if you were on a live stream or was it a Blu-ray reading you had one day? It may have been a Blu-ray reading, but you actually shared with us some of the things that have been sent to you. Okay. So I want to say, fam, if there's any way that you can just contribute to the legal fund to help protect Emmy, right? To really get her the legal protection that she needs, please do so. And please, by all means, share the link. You may not be able to donate right then and there. Please share the link We are a community. We like to put our arms around each other. We understand that things may not be the easiest now. It doesn't have to be a huge amount. But if we can do it, we can make it happen. I want to also, there's something that I need a little more thought before I approach the community. But this one, I want to mention going back on that young girl that had that video. It's on my heart so much in me. That whole video and the way people responded is just on my heart so much. So I'm not encouraging people to send her energy, anything like that, but I'm encouraging us as a community, as adults, as elders. I don't care if you're 25, you are an elder to someone who's 18 still. Okay. I'm encouraging us to do better. I'm encouraging us to, if we're going to project, please allow it to be a supportive projection as opposed to a destructive projection, a malevolent projection. Can we check ourselves before we speak and before we act? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. A lot of a lot of the posts that I see on social media and the videos and all of that, um, it's not that I don't have anything to say. It's that unless it's constructive, supportive in some way, I just won't comment.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't agree with something that's posted,
Thank you.
I don't need to correct them. I don't need to tell them how wrong they are. And, it's just like, okay, I'm hoping that at some point you'll come across information that will get everything sorted for you so that you can begin to understand the gravity of the error in that perception.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like I need to be everyone's corrector, teacher, karma, or any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Honest. Back when I was still extremely insecure about my value as a person, um, sometimes I would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I would comment and make it a point to really correct. And, I just, what's my intention there? To use
Yes.
someone else's low point as a jumping board for me to feel higher? No.
Great question. Great question.
Yeah.
Great question.
It's hard because it's like no matter what you do on social media, whatever you post, there will be people who like and who don't like. There was a
Absolutely.
post on excuse me, on my Emmy Evolving profile on Facebook. Let me find it. Um,
Mhm.
this person this person had said something like, "Don't who are you going to hold accountable?" or something like that.
Mm.
And I was just like, "Why would it be someone else's job to change things that I am tasked to change myself?"
Yes.
Find it real quick
Okay.
because it's important to really, use the words that this person used
Mm.
and and be able to share what it is that I said in response and his response to what I said.
Mm.
Okay. So the post says, I alone cannot change society for the better, but I can radically transform my own consciousness, overturning the condition that limits my potential. We
Mm.
can all do this one by one. Over time, we can change ourselves to the degree that society changes from the inside out,
Mm.
birth to a new way of being, manifesting our birthright of living in a peaceful and abundant world.
Mm.
And this person says, beautiful, yes, but who is doing the changing?
You know.
So I said, the answer is dependent on what exactly is being changed.
Mhm.
Don't you think? To task a person to do what one must do for themselves seems a tad inappropriate.
Mm.
And then someone else commented to the other person, misidentified awareness. And they're like, please explain, my brother. I'm like, okay. So you just completely disregarded what I
Mm-hmm.
said, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did eventually respond something. What I mean is, who or what is doing the changing? Who or what has the control to choose from this or that? Even this typing, this response is not me doing it. It's secondary to the fact, just echoes, if that. All is just a flow, and I'm the instrument for it. It being, we don't know. Okay, that's cyclical, that is cyclical, the chicken or the egg or the chicken. Either way, the chicken exists and so does the egg. The egg becomes another chicken, which is another sovereign being responsible for its own existence.
Now that's profound because you went there and I'm going Guildenstern and Rosencrantz. Does anybody know about Guildenstern and Rosencrantz? All the back and forth. Well, I think if a glass is half full, then the glass is half full, and all this like why? Like at least they thought they were, being philosophical and they were just whatever. But some people are just so dang on unnecessary in this stuff. But you're right. But you know what too? Even a form of projection, right? When someone does not want to get the point.
Yeah.
When someone doesn't want to get the point. And they'll keep on with the, projecting rhetoric and this and that and what if this and that and what if this and that. But you know what? It is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. But we're not going to let it drive us crazy no more on this earth, right?
So that projection is an invitation to join them in that space of stagnation where it's like, what came first, my soul or myself, my soul or myself? You
Yeah.
get many selves. The
Mm-hmm.
soul is a form of a self.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so which came first? Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Be the greatest self you can possibly be in this moment of awareness of the specific self you're aware of.
Love it. Love it.
A
Love
a lot of people in spiritual circles, they'll try and ensnare you in
it.
their cyclical logic that takes them nowhere. It's the dog chasing its tail.
Mm-hmm.
It's Ouroboros starving to the degree that it eats itself.
Yes.
I don't get my sustenance from being in circles and consuming myself and my insecurities.
Not at all. Not
I
at
get my
all.
environment from people who are willing to share their opposing positions, who are willing to share opposing opinions. The people who don't agree with me are the people who invite me to grow my opinion of what I have an opinion on.
I love that. I love that. Now, I didn't ask about this earlier, but what about the energetic consequences of destructive projections, as well as the energetic consequences of supportive projections?
So all you can control is yourself. And if you are in the presence of someone committing a destructive projection upon you, if you allow that in, you are taking in their energies, their demons, their distortions, all of that.
Mm,
You are taking all of that in.
mm. Ooh, that's a sobering realization, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a form of direct port injection of perception, just like sexual intercourse provides the opportunity for physical direct port injection of seminal fluids.
Mm.
That's genetic material which contains codes,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
it's the same thing. You're having mental intercourse.
Mm.
I'm sorry, but ain't nobody allowed up in there.
That's right.
I'm
that's,
sorry,
that's
you
right.
know? And that's I don't accept other people's projections.
Love it. I love it.
It's not that I'm immune. It's that the moment I become aware, I'm just like, uh-uh.
That's right. That's right. What about projection traps? Because we kind of talk about this, but what about projection traps?
Yes, like that comment that person left, that is a projection trap.
Mm.
To ensnare me into this never ending debate. It
Hmm.
is a never ending debate. And what is a debate? Grown ups arguing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
So,
no, I didn't mean to say yeah, but that debate I felt, but girl, go ahead, girl, go
no, no,
ahead.
go ahead.
I personally think that, and we can definitely disagree and still remain who we are at the end of the day, like we always do, remain who we are at the end of the day. I think that there's a difference between debating for debate's sake, debating to learn more, debating to just argue and get your ego stroked. I think that there is such as healthy debate, whether it's political, whether it's just about music, who's the best artist, you know, we may not agree, but it's like, I never thought of it in that way. That doesn't mean we have to get disrespectful. That's something different, you know. But go ahead, girl. Go ahead, girl.
So for me, the definition of a healthy debate is a conversation.
I like it.
Yeah, it's to me that's not even a debate anymore. You're just conversing and sharing and not trying to convince each other necessarily, but just sharing concepts that support why your stance is what it is.
Mm.
For me, debate has a much more negative connotation. It's trying to strong someone into agreeing that your opinion and your stance is much more valid than their own.
Mm. I think that's how it is. I think that's how people handle it a lot of times. I think that's a lot of what we see. We don't really see the maturity. We don't see the respect for differences of opinions. So
Yeah.
if that's what we see more so than what's been described previously, then of course it's definitely understandable for anybody to look at it like that, for sure. But I
Yeah.
also, in the same vein, I like your definition of the healthy debate or a conversation, just a conversation. So I can see both ways, and I can definitely discuss my views without having to feel the need to impose my views, feeling the need to degrade anyone or their views, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ayla Range shared,
Hey.
I always thought a debate was an argument with a removal of emotions. That's kind of what I have seen as well. So, and I have a bias towards the word debate because I've never seen a healthy debate.
Mm.
You know, but I also don't watch debates. So, you know,
One. We just had one.
right. But it's see, like that to me, that's just conversation.
And that's okay. Guess what? I'm not gonna be like hashtag adopt my perception. Like hashtag adopt my perception. So guess what? Girl, you say potato, I say potato. I don't say potato, but you can't either eat them either way. Yours, girl. That's what's up.
She be knowing because you can't eat it either way. But see, and that's the thing. I think with people being able to see the difference in our opinions, and it's still very respectful, and it is, I guess, an argument with the removal of emotions. I'm not committed to you. I'm not committed to getting you to agree with me, and you're not committed to getting me to agree with you. It's just kind of the sharing of the differing opinions.
Mhm.
And I never even realized that's a healthy debate. You're
I,
right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Good thing. Now I'll eat your potatoes, girl. I'll eat your potatoes, girl, until we go on that eat for your frequency challenge.
I know we have all of these projects, you guys, that
Yes.
we are working on getting launched. And I can't wait to share all of the other things that we have in the works with all of you. Things have been progressing so beautifully and so nicely. Um, yeah, I will say, I will share. The only frustrating thing is being limited in how much we can share out of safety concern for, you know,
Yes.
everyone at these actual events.
Yes.
We have been doing some very amazing events and meeting amazing, amazing people in person, sharing our breads and our stories and our energy. I hate that I have to withhold the opportunity for my own community to join me because of this. That sucks.
It does. At the same time, that legal fund, we're going to get the legal assistance that is necessary because you're going to put safety first, of course. We're going to put protection first, of course. But we are going to get what is needed. Help you, help yourself. And we're going to start having those events, right? Can I
Yeah.
ask you how much is needed for the legal fund? Because yesterday it had been, it had gotten down to a
Yeah.
certain amount. What's needed today?
I think it's maybe like 125 or $100.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm not so vocal about it. Like, I know people are sick and tired of hearing about it. I just don't want to. That's a projection. I know.
That could be a projection, and I do understand, but at the same time, you don't have to say anything right now. If you don't want to say anything right now, I'm just saying what is sincere and genuine from my heart and from my observations. Girl, you don't ask anybody for stuff. And I really understand because you saw the same thing in me. I don't just ask people, and we don't always, even when we may need something, like we may not say anything. We'd rather go ahead and do whatever. But I'm going to tell you, the people love you, Emmy. We all love you. And you show up for us, we love you. And when you love people and you want to show up for them, you love people and you want to show up for them. So, with that, guys, I don't know if you can, and it's okay if you cannot, but we have 34 people in the chat. I don't know, but can any number of you just donate $8? And
I hate to even ask that. It's like, you know me though. Yeah, that's something I will probably always struggle with. And the community has been very, very, very helpful in empowering me with that aspect of my struggle.
beautiful. I love it.
Being able to come to people and know that they understand I'm not just, crying wolf or anything like that, that I only would ever come to you guys if there's an actual need. Um, a lot of the push to really take all of the appropriate legal action at this point is because, like I said, it's time for us to be able to meet together as a community, but to be able to do so in a safe manner.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's
Absolutely.
necessary. There's nothing more frustrating than, it's like not even being able to share with you guys, of all people, to share. Like, hey guys, I'm going to be here from this hour to this hour on this day. Come on out. You don't have to buy anything. Just hang out, you
Mm-hmm.
know, come share space. I can't even do that. I
Mm-hmm.
can't even tell you guys where I was last week, last weekend, and to be in a space where because I'm very I'm very like this, where I'm meeting strangers instead of my online family. Like, it rubs me so wrong, you know.
Guys, I'm going to share with you because she was really debating on whether she should. And I hope it's okay for me to share this because, you know, it's 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 not okay. It's not okay to feel like you can't be amongst your people because there's somebody who's stalking you. There's somebody in a different country, but this person has been so malicious, so malicious in his intent. Like, she honestly was debating. She wanted to, y'all. She really, 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 really wanted to. And she asked for our opinions. And I'm the kind of person where I respect everybody's sovereignty. I'm like, a lot of times I'm like, well, what do you think? What do you feel might be best, like in your heart of hearts? But sometimes I'm like, hey, if I really feel it, especially I'm like, safety first. Guys, she came so close. She really wanted to tell. And at some point she was like, you know what? I'm not gonna live in fear. I'm not gonna live in fear. People out there, I'm supposed to be doing a certain thing. People out there, they're waiting for me, right? But when you have these very real barriers to your safety, like what what do you do then? You have to be wise. Of course, you're going to show up. Of course, you're going to do these things, and it's going to get there. But I'm just letting you know that she really thought about announcing it. But it was decided. I take it at some point. It was decided internally that maybe it's not the best thing to do. I mean, because I was wondering if she was going to post it or she was not going to post it. I did ask you, but when I didn't, I didn't push it. Either way, I didn't push it. But Let me step out of something, okay? Bump this, y'all. This is it's time for something different. It is time for something different. So we are going to make sure that we help you get the help that you need because it's enough of this on
Yeah.
all levels. It's enough of this.
Yeah, and I was sharing with you that, I cannot live in fear in perpetuity.
Hmm.
Um, this right now is something that needs to be handled first and foremost in the appropriate legal manner. And then secondly, I understand that as I grow in my reach, that there will never be an end of people who have a very unhealthy fixation on me. I've had this my entire life. It will continue and it will probably worsen, but at that point I will have a budget for security, and my main concern is that I am endangering other people because of a specific person's awareness of my physical geographic location.
Hmm.
That I would not be okay with. It's not that, oh, I don't care what happens to me. It's that I don't want whatever I'm dealing with to spill over into other people's personal experiences, personal safety.
Hmm.
That's the only reason I went for several days debating, should I not, should I not, should I not.
Hmm.
But everyone else's safety, including my own, is what's the most important. This won't be forever, you guys.
Definitely.
It won't be forever. We will get to a point where, first and foremost, the appropriate legal action is taken. And secondly, we will have the budget and the ability to have the appropriate security detail in place.
Hmm.
And I don't want you guys worrying about me. I was raised to know how to defend myself.
Hmm.
That's literally how I was raised. I know how to handle the appropriate things that need to be handled to elevate my ability to protect myself.
Hmm.
But the last thing I want is to expose other people to me in the process of defending myself, you
Yeah.
know? So it's not going to last forever. And, I just, my main thing is I don't want you guys to worry. It
Yeah.
is a very real situation, but I don't want you guys to worry. I don't want you guys to feel like, oh my gosh, what if someone does this and someone does that? We're not going to play that game.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
why my locations are never disclosed. That's why I run a rolling IP. I do a VPN. I do everything. I do everything. And I hope you guys know how much your support really, really means to me. It means a lot.
That's beautiful. And gosh, she absolutely did talk about everyone's safety, your safety, everybody's safety. So I didn't focus on that so much, whatever, because I'm talking about this legal fund and protector, because that's very important. But yes, she was absolutely concerned about, hey, not necessarily just me, but somebody could be exposed to. And guys, it's enough. It's time for that to stop, right?
Yeah.
We take legal means and we're going to help her to help herself in the situation. So I just want to say thank you so very much for having me. And that goes for our beautiful community, that goes for you, Emmy. Thank you so very much for having me. If you have any more questions or anything you want to say.
Um, do you guys have anything that you feel you want to share? We are running out of time, but it's this sense of there's someone. I feel someone wanting and needing to say something, but not being able to. This is the space where you can be allowed to find your courage to speak freely and openly about whatever it is that you want to talk about. This is the space. So if you want to, you can. If you want to hold off until maybe next time, I'm live pretty much every day, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I do readings. You can go ahead and comment there if you want. Just know, you sharing your thoughts it won't always be received by everyone as a negative, toxic projection.
Mm,
There are some people who have the capacity to be able to hear and observe and witness you in the most neutral manner possible, with
mm,
no opinions on anything, just holding a space to listen, to witness. There are people who exist who can do that too. And it's important for you to know that. The time for us as individuals should be coming to an end. And the only way for us to really bring to an end the era of separateness is by really holding space for each other, not as punching bags, not as dumping grounds, but as someone who can listen, witness you in your process in a neutral manner.
yeah.
Just be very neutral, you know? And it's, I don't even mean like not share with you that I think badly about what you're saying, but really just be like, okay, that's what you're going through. All right, well, how did that affect you? Do you remember where this began? Where do you think this is going to go? How far do you think you need to travel within yourself to feel safe from all of this? You know, just being able to help you find the questions that will further enrich you as you go through this process of learning yourself.
Mm,
Projections don't always have to be toxic, they don't always have to be hurtful and harmful. Sometimes the most healthy thing we can do is project our self confidence towards someone who's feeling very unsure.
mhm.
So, if you guys join me during my morning church live streams, 7 a.m. live streams, um, what ends up happening is people, they end up by the end of that live stream feeling as though um, they are more empowered and more clear and, you know, better understanding their situation. That's because I have used projection. I have projected onto you my sense of what I deserve, and I've invited you to see you deserve that as well. What am I doing to the screen, girl?
Girl, you know what you're doing to the screen. You may not know what you're doing to the screen, but I'm gonna tell you what I see. Your screen is changing. Like the face, it's like changing, morphing, and you see like different colors, right? But like your face, I don't mean morphing like that. Your face is changing in the way it's like even right now. You guys see it?
My chest is pounding.
Wow. And it's like I see a little like a multitude of colors around it. I don't normally see like colors that way, but I see it in the screen right now. Guys, what y'all see in the screen? I know it's me. Y'all not gonna have me out here like, oh damn, homie, my mom's playing tricks on me. Dun, 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 dun. I know I'm not the only one. Wow.
um, I think you are all witnessing the growth from deep inside rising to the surface.
Mm. Oh, I love it. I love it.
It's okay to grow even when you don't feel quite as safe as you deserve to,
Mm.
you know? It's okay. It's okay to still give yourself permission to continue on your process. Even though the environment, the circumstance is not ideal for your growth.
Mhm.
It's okay. It's okay for you to be in whatever process you're in and continue with whatever other processes you were having before the not so ideal situation occurred. All
Mm.
right. So, thank you guys so much for sharing this space. Oh, I do want to share. Samantha said, I appreciate the support of this tribe. I appreciate you helping me look at myself in ways I couldn't a year ago.
Yeah.
Thank you all. And I hope everyone feels that same way, where because of the tribe, not just because of me, um, I'm just the screensaver for what we're doing together. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see myself as the head of anything. I see myself as the one being tasked to initiate conversations,
Mm.
right? Just these conversations that are necessary as we empower ourselves as a community. This was such a beautiful, beautiful talk. Thank you again, Ocean Lover. It's always a good time with you.
Always a good time with you too. Thank you so much.
And just for everyone else's awareness, we're going to be adding donuts, possibly some bagels, and a couple other flavors to our menu. We're going to be doing
Mm.
that very soon. I hope you guys look out for it. And I'm going to be adding the fairy berry bread.
Ooh.
It's so good. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it really is. It really is. And you're gonna add some holiday flavors, aren't you?
Yes.
Girl.
Yes. If you guys have certain flavors of bread that you'd like to suggest, absolutely give me the suggestion and maybe I'll be inspired enough to add it to the menu.
Mouth is watering, and guess what? I started thinking of some possibilities on yesterday, girl. God, she can bake. And oh my gosh, I don't know if she's okay with me saying it, but there's somebody else out there. Let me see if she's in the comment section because, but
Say it.
these
Say
people
it.
say it,
Say it.
girl. Emmy and Lindsay synergistics, and we have, someone else aboard, but like the people that are baking know what they are doing. They know what they're doing. So the board members, they know what they are doing. I gotta give it to my fellow board members, boy, because you guys just, whew, I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Like the best thing that could have ever happened was the falling apart of my original plan in
Mm,
order for the real plan to come together.
wow.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like that.
Yeah. This, like, I would not trade my board and my team for anything in the world. Yeah, I am thankful for the process that it took for me to realize the misalignment so that I could open myself to be aligned to the appropriate people.
Mm,
It's a beautiful thing. I'm very grateful. Very, very grateful. And
absolutely.
that stems from a projection.
Oh,
Projection to try and shame me for being intelligent.
wow.
One of my biggest insecurities, people rejecting me for my intelligence.
Mm. Mm.
Crazy, right?
It's deep. And look how it all goes back. Everything full circle, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because, and this is the final thought we'll leave you guys with because we're going to head over to Soul Sanctuary to have a exclusive chat. It's funny when you already severely modify yourself to be more tolerable to people who have this incapacity to tolerate whatever aspect of you. For me, one of the things people can't tolerate very well is my, I guess, intelligence and my ability to comprehend things very quickly. And, having already modified myself so much, the way I talk these days and for much of my life is not how I naturally talk. I
Mm.
speak with a candor and vernacular that's very difficult to understand for
Mm.
simply because I prefer the poetic, archaic nature of speech from long back when.
Mm.
I just it's beautiful. It's
Mm.
beautiful. Ever since I was a child, that's how I would speak. And I
Mm.
learned, I was conditioned to shut that part of me off,
Mm.
right? And to have already shut one of the most beautiful aspects of myself off and to still be shamed that I didn't shut off enough. That's that's the point where you reach a space of rebellion where no, I'm not shutting off anymore. And if you can't understand, that's your problem.
Mm.
And I hope that you guys get to a point where you reach that space of rebellion, rebel against those who don't give you permission for things that you never needed permission to be.
Mm.
You just got to let yourself be you.
Yes. Yes. I love it, girl. I love it.
Oh, girl, thank you for that because I'm like, I said too much.
No, no, you did not. It's perfect. Is it okay to mention a song on here? Any type of conflicts with mentioning specific songs. Okay. Guys, if you're interested, as she was talking, a song came to me by Rochelle Farrell, and I love her. The name of that song is Individuality.
Mm.
And if you listen to the lyrics or even read the lyrics of that song, I think that you would find something that really resonates. Let's celebrate who we are.
It's
I love
time.
it. Yes, it's time. Beyond the projections, who am I? Right? Beyond the projections, who are you? That's what we are embracing.
Beyond the projection, who am I? A spark of divinity still discovering the answer.
Mm,
Yeah.
I love it. Beyond the projections, who am I? I am an unapologetic totality.
Mm.
Beat. I am strong. I am humble. I am fierce. I am that I am.
Love it. I love it. Goosey bumps. So, guys, if you want to join us as we continue this conversation in our exclusive chat, simply go to the soulsanctuary.love and you can sign up for a recurring contribution. It is not a membership, it is a space where you are supporting our ministry and our nonprofit work. If you are in the United States, your recurring contribution counts as a tax deduction. Okay, it counts as a donation. This is not a membership. We do have various tiers of recurring contribution, and our gratitude for the various tiers gives you access to specific exclusive areas of our ministry. Okay, so we hope you choose to join us there. We're going to head over there right now. If you need some time to sign up, then that's okay because it's recorded. You won't miss anything. All our conversations are recorded. I hope you guys all have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. And for all of my Soul Sanctuary Ministry folks, I'll see you guys over there in a couple minutes. Thank you again, Ocean. I'll see
Yes,
you guys there.